Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugga. I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. And forewarning on this video, you may be able to tell by the tone of my voice, I am not in a good mood. I am not in a good mood, not for personal reasons per se. In other words, there's nothing going on in my personal life. I am not in a good mood for a very different reason. And I'm going to be tackling again a subject that I very strongly believe in. You've heard me tirade on it before, and I am probably going to tirade the fuck out of it now. So as we continue this delivery, keep in mind that this video has been recorded on October 2nd, which is a day before it uploads, I believe. Before I get into driving, I'm just going to tell you what I'm talking about, and then you can decide whether you want to continue listening to me go on a rampage or not. I logged into, or I was going to log into Reddit. I pulled Reddit up, and I don't log in right away. I don't have it automatically remembering me. So I just get, the general front page before I log in and get all my subscription front page stuff up. And I happened to notice at the very top of the front page about a college shooting in Oregon. That actually happened today. As a matter of fact, at the time of the posting, the shooting was not going on. The shooter had been taken down, either killed or captured. Nothing had been known at the time of that. And still, they were dealing in the aftermath. And it was still, for the most part, going on. I clicked, I read about it. I went and I talked to my mother-in-law about it, told her it happened. She turned on the news. And we got the immediate update about what was going on and that 13 people had been killed because of this. So, yeah, you can guess at this point what I'm going to go on a tirade on. Because it's the stupidest, most ridiculous, honest to God fucking thing I have ever seen in my life. And, well, let's just get started. Otherwise, I'm never going to drive. I'm just going to sit here and talk. Before I do, real quick, might as well get this out of the way. But ProMods has updated to a new version. I have not updated to that new version yet because, well, I don't need to. I'm still on the older version because I'm waiting for Poland Rebuilding to update as well. Hopefully that'll be done by this weekend and I'll be able to get onto the newest version of the game. But until then, I'm still on 1.20, not 1.21. So anyways, yeah. Shooting in Oregon. 13 people killed. 13 lives lost. Because somebody took a gun, wanted attention, and went on a killing spree. Now, before I get into my usual rampage, there is something else I want to touch on. I'm going to try and touch on it quickly, and it pertains to this. And it pertains to the news coverage of these things. A decent part of the reason that school shootings and theater shootings continue to happen is because the news sensationalizes the fuck out of it because they want ratings. They don't care about victims. They don't care about victims' families. They don't care about what their news reporting is causing. No, it's all about getting the ratings and making it look good and bringing you all the information. You bullshit bringing you all the information. It's ridiculous. You know, there have been plenty of people that have said, if you stop sensationalizing these things, then people may stop doing them. People do this because of the type of attention it draws. It is a person's last cry for attention to go out in a blaze of glory. Before I walked away to come here to start setting up to record this, certainly on the news, who was this guy? What was his ties to the school? What was his motive? And you know that as soon as everything gets released, it's all going to blow the fuck up. And they're going to start investigating his life, you know, his family, his friends. What video games did he play is probably going to be part of that. God forbid this guy played violent video games. We're going to hear about it. And they're going to blame the whole fucking thing on freaking Call of Duty or whatever the fuck. And this pisses me off. They're gonna blame it on things like Call of Duty and fucking whatever the hell else. I'm trying to calm myself down a little bit before I get too much going, because I'm already fired up for whatever else, for what else I'm going to talk about, rather. No, but the news handling of these stories, like you know, it's all about appearance. It's all about ratings. It's not about what's doing right to try and make it so that people don't look at that and go, well, you know, if I ever need to go out and, you know, in a blaze of glory and get some attention, this is the way to go. Anyways. So yeah. You still gonna argue me about gun control? Are you? Really? You know what? Let's just be straight about this. Since George W. Bush Jr. repealed... hello, tree. Since George W. Bush Jr. repealed the law that bans semi-automatic weapons, gun violence has been on an increase. And it has gotten to the point where the United States is averaging, at least at this point, it's no longer, you know, it's no longer just a strict average. It is averaging now at least, because at times it can be a bit more, one major mass shooting a month. Every month, somebody is going on a major gun rampage, killing. At this point, you know, it was 13 people. People say, well, I need guns to protect myself. The fuck you do if the guns weren't there to protect yourself to begin with? You wouldn't need to protect yourself from guns. You know, we talk about how guns is a right. We talk about how being able to have a gun is a right. You know, yeah, you know, there can be issues with not having guns to a degree, but for fuck's sake, when the hell are we going to wake the fuck up and look at countries that are far older and far wiser than what we have here? Places like Japan, places like England. Come on, people, wake up! Stop with your goddamn boners for a fucking gun, okay? Just because you like to shoot things doesn't mean it should be around, considering how it tends to be abused. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. No, people with guns kill people. Yeah, you can kill people other ways, but, you know, when's the last time you heard somebody going on a knife rampage, killing 13 people with a freaking knife in a school? Come on. You can run away from a guy with a knife. You can fight it. You can pick up a desk or a chair or something around you and fend off somebody with a fucking knife. Or even a sword. You can defend yourself. You can't exactly pick up a chair and fight off a guy that's standing at you with a rifle or even a handgun. I am sick. I am truly sick of the NRA. That they can continue to justify this bullshit. This all should have been started to be taken care of when the elementary school was shot up. Because how long do you think before another shooting like that happens? With things like this happening, and the sensationalization of the people who are doing this, and the ease that you can get not just a gun, but guns. How long do you think before somebody shoots up another elementary school? Or, God forbid, a daycare center? You know, where you're no longer talking about children, you're talking about infants. We live in a world where the 3 largest theater companies have had to take measures and implement extreme security for a theater to make sure that their patrons are safe. Guns are not helping this country. They're terrorizing it. They're hurting it. We live in fear every day. We live in fear that some person could randomly walk in somewhere and start blazing away in a hail of bullets, hitting innocent people all over the fucking place. All because a very small, and I'm sorry, compared to the freaking population of this country, and people who own guns and want to own guns, compared to people who don't own guns, do not want to own guns, or do not care if they own guns or not. You're a minority. You're a fucking vocal minority. That's just the problem with this world. Is you're vocal. Where a lot of people who don't carry guns, or don't care if they carry guns, don't say anything to either side of it. These shootings are quite literally almost convenient in when they happen. Now, I'm not saying anything about that, no. I'm just saying there seems to be, right now, enough time passing between shootings for the shock and the horror of what had happened, of people being killed and people being wounded in these mass shootings. I'm pretty sure I could have just driven through. There's no barrier. Everyone else is, but fuck it, I'll do the right thing. But yeah, just come on. There's just been enough time passing, man, that it's not forgotten, but it doesn't impact the next one. And I'm just wondering how long it takes before people wake up and realize how many people have been killed in mass shootings. And this is mass shootings. Okay, these are the ones we hear about. These are not the people in every day that get shot and killed. All right, this isn't people, individuals who only make local news that get shot and killed, that the rest of the country doesn't hear about. I've said it 1,000 fucking times, and I'll say it 1,000 fucking more if I have to. The United States is nothing more than a fucking teenager that has been given the power of an adult. We are a country that does not actually know how to fucking govern itself. We're not. Yeah, in terms of a country, we can do some really great things. Such as the Supreme Court saying that gay marriage is something that can happen. It's no longer a state-to-state decision. It's a federal decision. Yeah, great. That's wonderful. That's something the country got right. But how long are we going to turn a blind eye to the fact of guns? Right? Don't give me that Bill of Rights bullshit. I haven't believed in the Bill of Rights for 20 fucking years. The Bill of Rights, again, as I've said a million times, is a document that was created more than 200 years ago, more than 250 years ago. And it was based on the times of then. It was based on the things of then. It was based when freedom of press meant freedom of press. When the press actually brought you news and it didn't sensationalize it. It just reported the fucking facts. Sorry, I banged my desk. Could you, like, go today? You know what the hell with you. Because you're just going to sit there forever. Oh yeah, that's my fault. Whatever. Fuck you. But yeah, I haven't believed in the Bill of Rights in 20 years. 20 years plus. Because it's a document that was made, as I said, more than 250 years ago, based on the times that it was created in. And I'm gonna say that I'm just gonna cover this now, because otherwise I'm gonna keep repeating it and probably drive you up a fucking wall. This is nothing new to what I've said. You can go back and go over a dozen freaking videos of mine and probably find at least where I go into this at once. The right to bear arms, the right to own a gun was back in the time where you could shoot one bullet a fucking minute. Where if you wanted to shoot more than one person in quick succession, you better have brought more than one gun loaded. Where you had to put down the powder and the wadding and the bullet and pack the whole damn thing. Where guns were not that fucking accurate. Where you couldn't fire off an entire clip in a gun of 15 bullets, and I'm just talking about a handgun, never mind things like semi-automatic, fully automatic, freaking M16s and fucking Uzis and whatever the fuck else. No. None of that shit. It kind of looks like I'm supposed to go this way. Okay. I'm talking about just an average handgun with a 15 bullet clip. You can fire that off in just a few seconds. The Bill of Rights was made in a fucking time when the militia was the army, when the average person was a soldier. The Bill of Rights was made in a time, people, where you had to defend yourself from wildlife, where your nearest neighbor could be miles away, hours, if not days' ride. To follow a document that old and hold all of its laws to be true when times have changed so dramatically, when people are abusing those laws, when people are standing on those laws, to justify their own desires, their own needs, their own cravings, their own sick, twisted, sadistic beliefs, or their actions. Things need to change. It's that simple. Okay? It really is that simple. There is no reason for this to continue. The only reason is because of minority group. Yeah, they hold some sway. Yes, they hold some power. But in terms of the entirety of the population of the United fucking States, They are a minority. That's, to me, why this is really still happening. It's because we're listening to a small group of people who want to own guns. And our punishment, our payment, our suffering for this group wanting to own guns, believing they have a right to have something this deadly in their possession, means that everyone has access to these same deadly devices. And those people who shouldn't by any means have anything like this in their possession get to have them, get to take them to colleges, high schools, elementary schools, movie theaters, and God knows what else, and kill innocent people because they're fucked in the head, because they want attention, because they want to go down in a blaze of glory, because they want to be remembered, even if it's just for a few days. That's the price we're paying right now for the NRA. The NRA goes out of its way to find anything it can, any excuse it can, to continue owning guns. And it's ridiculous. Back when the elementary school was shot up, yeah. Back in the time that all those little children and teachers were shot, what was the NRA's answer? Does anyone remember? You know what the NRA's answer was? Put armed security guards in the school. Put armed security guards in the school. Yeah. That was their big answer. That was their solution. Because a crossfire is so much safer than somebody going on a rampage. One of the biggest arguments I hear people saying, well, why we need guns, is to prevent this country from becoming a police state. To prevent this country from being taken over by a tyrant. So that we could fight back against somebody who may abuse the military. And I'm sitting there rubbing my forehead at this moment, just saying this. So you think that all you minority idiots out there, and I'm sorry if I offend you at this point, but it's how I feel if you're one of those believers. All right, there's a difference between somebody who wants to own a gun for the fun of it and shooting it or going hunting. And there's another one who believes he has to own guns in order to protect himself from the government. Do you really believe that if the military were to go along with a president who wanted to lock down the country, turn it into a police state, overthrow Congress and all that, and become a tyrant, do you honestly think you'll be able to protect yourself against freaking Air Force, against planes, against tanks? With a rifle? With a shotgun? With an M16? You honestly think you'll make a difference? Give me a break. Give me a goddamn break. And if anyone of you had the slightest sense, if any one of you, oh, you know, having guns will allow me to fight back if there's a presidential coup and somebody tries to become a tyrant, which will never fucking happen because it'd never be allowed to happen. Sorry, I'm a little mind exhausted already from all this. But if any one of you would actually take time to look, if anyone would actually take time to open their eyes and see the world today, you'll see that it's already too late. And the things that are being suggested and the things that are being done to protect people from maniacs with guns is turning this country into exactly what people fear. When movie theaters have to implement security measures in order to protect their people from guns, when one of the suggestions in order to protect children, whether they be college students, high school, middle school, elementary school students, from gun violence, is to put guns in the school, when you have to go to the airport and go through 9,000 freaking security checks that violate every amount of privacy that you should technically have, when our own government is spying on its own people, it's too late. We're already a police state. We are already a police state. America is supposed to be the greatest country in the world. A lot of people would have you believe that. And I'm sorry, it's not. Not even close. I can think of a lot of second world countries I'd rather go live in than the United States. It really is that simple. Okay? It really is. Alright, and I know that these aren't second world countries, and I'm going to mention these are first world countries. But in terms of places that I would love to choose to live, rather than be part of the United States right now, if I could, you know, England, Great Britain, God save the Queen. That ranks up there. It's number one. You know what? Let me just throw this out there. Practically anything in Europe, Germany, France, Spain, fucking England, Scotland, Ireland. Yeah, I know there's violence and all that, but still, it's better than this bullshit. It really is better than this bullshit. Canada. Fuck, send me to Canada, please. We live in a world, we live in a country where a cry goes up to ban a fucking flag and is listened to and heeded and actually has results. But somebody can go on a massive killing spree once a fucking month with a gun, with guns, with semi-automatic weapons, pistols, rifles, whatever the fuck else they carried with them. And when people beg, plead, cry out, and demand gun control, nothing happens. Because there's a single organization dedicated to the damage control of the reputation of guns. You know, this isn't something I would ever actually do, so let me just throw that out there right now. Okay? This is not something I'd ever actually do. But sometimes I feel like I would love to find the owner of the NRA and just shoot him. Just shoot him. Not, well, I say owner, leader, president, whatever the fuck. I know owner's wrong. My mind is going so quickly. I'm so upset about this that I'm actually like fighting to keep my thoughts organized. Yeah? But seriously, you know, here's how well owning a gun protects you, sir. Boom! It's not something I'd actually do. But I wouldn't lie and say that the thought didn't cross my mind. God, it just so pisses me off. Why do I have to live in a country that'll ban a Confederate flag? That does not mean what it used to mean anymore. I remember hearing something, somebody saying that was in support of this, having to see the flag and the symbolization of something that causes pain. What? What? Seeing the Confederate flag causes you pain? Why? You weren't there during the Civil War, and nobody near you has been there during the Civil War. Nobody even remotely close to the Civil War's time is around you. How the hell are you still hurting over it? It was total insanity. That's all I could think of is this person saying that seeing and looking at the Confederate flag. Slow down a little too much. Viewing the Confederate flag actually caused them emotional distress. Because, well, that was never said. Walmart has actually gone in many places to the point, Walmart, mind you, has gone to the point in many places of not carrying the Confederate flag anymore. But yet they still carry rifles, shotguns, despite the fact that dozens of people or more, I don't know how many, die every day to gun violence, that mass shootings are happening every fucking month. And you know what the hilarious thing about this, the most hilarious fucking crossover of all this is? The Confederate flag is often seen by a lot of people in terms of being the flags of rednecks. I'm sorry, it's just the term used, okay? I really don't care. Everyone, I'm like Jeff Foxworthy. I believe everyone has a little bit of redneck in them, okay? Some more than others, hey, but there's nothing wrong with that. But rednecks are seen for what? The true stereotype of a redneck is seen for what? Being drunk, drinking beer, living in a trailer park, and having guns. We ban the symbolism of that, but not the actual gun. It's like George Carlin said. This man we all know to be beyond his years in intelligence before he passed away. And he spoke it through comedy. And this still holds true today. It comes around every so often, where a kid or something like that will get shot because they were holding a toy gun. So what do people want to do? What do people want to do? They want to ban the toy guns and keep the real ones. That's exactly what George Carlin said. You want to ban toy guns, but keep the fucking real thing. And you're going to tell me that this country's priorities are not screwed up? You're going to tell me this country's priorities are not fucked in the head? You know, shit like this keeps up, you're gonna find me out in the middle of a field with a mirror trying to freaking signal the mothership to come pick my ass up and get me out of here. I'm not worried about Korea starting a war by launching nukes. I'm not worried about Japan. I'm not worried about China, rather, starting some kind of war. Or cyber... I'm not worried. I'm worried about the United States starting a fucking another war. I'm worried about the United States launching nukes, because we have them. In a country where guns can go so freaking easily by time after time after time, despite what has happened, despite all the things that have been going on, despite all the killings, the mass murders, the shootings, and everything else. In a country where we can still fucking justify owning a freaking gun. I'm not worried about other countries. I'm worried about my country and where it's going. I'm worried about the teenager that has the power of an adult and is abusing it. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm scared about. Korea doesn't scare me. Korea doesn't worry me. China doesn't worry me. Terrorism does not scare me. We reached level 19. Right. Alright, straight up, none of that scares me. My own country scares me. The people who are in charge scare me. The groups that we listen to. Despite all the evidence that's constantly shoved in our face and down our throats. That's what scares me. I don't fear the outside threat. I fear the inside threat. You know, it's gotten so bad. It's gotten to the point, and I kid you not about this. I fucking hate these ramps. I mean, they're cool and all, but they're still a massive pain in the ass. Other way. Trying to drive while looking the wrong way. We got enough for another truck too. No. So what's the final engine? Ah! Caterpillar 1050 horsepower, 4,978 Newton meters, 1,150 to 1,500 RPM. So basically the exact same thing as the ISX-15. Just what it's coming down to in this is, which sound do you prefer, the Caterpillar sound or the ISX? Caterpillar. I'm going to go one more delivery before I buy a new truck, just to be on the safe side. Oh, I have to back off. This one I can't actually. I don't think that there's a rest spot here. So I gotta go to... engine serviced. Before I wrap this all up, let's just see what we're going to try and tow tomorrow, shall we? Well, that's looking like it right there, 45-ton train. We have to go back, and we're going to be going over a lot of the road we just traveled, but we will be going to somewhere different. Let's just take a look. We could take the 11-ton, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Yep, we're taking the 45-ton TGM1 next episode. All right, but yeah, let me wrap this up here. We are not the best country in the world. We let ourselves be influenced by things that we shouldn't. 9/11 was a horrific thing that happened, and I don't care whether you believe it was an inside job or not. Because of 9/11, we are under security measures that have basically started the turn of placing this country into being a police state. But yet, despite being a quote-unquote police state, we still believe that our general population should be allowed to own guns. And because of that, because we listen to this little group, and I know I'm mixing subjects here, just please, like I said, I've got so many thoughts going through my head right now. I'm actually fighting to straighten them out. This is kind of how my mind works. Once I get going, I actually become so overwhelmed by my own feelings about these subjects that they start crashing into each other. As long as this continues, as long as this goes on, as long as we continue to believe and listen to this organization that promotes guns and owning guns and standing on an amendment that was made over 250 years ago, shit like this is going to continue. As long as we refuse to look at our elders, as long as we are our elder countries like England, like Japan, fuck, like Canada for at this fucking rate. As long as we refuse to open our eyes to what's actually going on, as long as we refuse to band together to put a voice against this group known as the NRA, as long as we continue to allow ourselves to be distracted by other things, such as, you know, and this actually all ties together, and I just don't have the time to explain it, but such as things like ISIS and such as things like Korea and the big deal that we're making about it over there, when they're actually just a fucking, well, not Korea's a joke. Their leader is a joke. I don't believe Korea is a joke itself, a country and the people in it. Their leader and their government's a fucking joke. All right? As long as we allow ourselves to be distracted by things like this, we are never going to do and take the steps that we need to improve our country here. One of the biggest improvements that this country will ever make, if it ever has, just the raw intelligence to make that decision, is to bring back better, stronger, stricter gun controls. As far as I'm concerned, and I've said it before, I'm not against 100% taking away all guns. I believe in following like England, where you can have long barreled rifles, shotguns, things that are not semi automatic, things you actually can only maybe get a couple of shots off before you have to reload, things that are virtually, not 100%, but virtually impossible to conceal. Until we start taking measures like this, we are always going to be viewed as the reckless, out of control teenager that has the power of the adult. And whether anyone wants to believe it or not, gun violence has been on the rise, especially since the repeal of semi automatic weapons started back in good old W's time. Right? Since that ban was repealed because George W. was a gun enthusiast. Yeah, things have been getting progressively and steadily worse. And I actually had a lot of hope. And I don't care what anyone else thinks about him. I don't care what any of you think about him. I had a lot of hope. I had a lot of hope that Obama would do something about this, that he would be the president that he appeared to be and bring action to this and follow his promises of change. But you know what? His time's almost up, and he's not proving to be that president. If he doesn't jump to action soon, fuck, I'll vote for Trump. I'll fucking vote for Donald Trump. Why not? In a world where George W. can come in and do the things he did and get elected not once, but twice under dubious circumstances, where the village idiot for 8 years was in control of the country. I'd rather have Trump at this point. I would. I'd rather have the businessman than the politician at this rate. I really don't give a fuck anymore because why not? What do we got to lose? This country's already gone to hell. Anyways, I could keep babbling on. For all of you who are still subscribed at this point and who actually sat and listened to the whole thing, I greatly appreciate it. My prayers and my thoughts go out to all those in Oregon, to the victims, families, and to everyone affected by it. I apologize for the state of this country and the things that it causes, for the sheer idiocracy that we live in because people believe that we should still own guns. Because somebody needs to apologize for it. Nobody else will. So that's going to be my time today, folks. I hope you've maybe enjoyed watching this as much as I've been tirading bringing it to you. Until next time, it's going to be one big bug. I'm going to be signing out. I'll see you then.